Alright, we hopefully should be live. Basically this stream will be me grinding the tower in the Christmas event for Ghost Simulator to get some keys to hopefully reach goals of getting some of these mythicals that are in the 350 key chests, and those are kind of cool stuff. They're more or less reskins in different colors of the 250 ones, but there's more particularly a purple one in these that I really want to get my hands on. So we'll probably start into the tower now and see how much we can do. I have gone ahead and bought the Christmas pass for this event. This is the first time for me buying the event pass. Usually I say it's not worth it, but with the amount of grinding that I'll probably be doing for this event, I think it'll be worth it for me, since they did add like 3 new crates, both the 350s and then also this new 51, which means I need to get my hands on a lot of new stuff in this update. Fortunately, there is an event extension. They're going to the 28th, which means that it'll be a 6-week event rather than their normal 4-week event, which will give me a little bit more time to hopefully get everything I want from this update. It's been a while since I last did the tower, so I might be a little rusty on all of it, but it should start going by pretty quickly, especially if I switch over to using vacuum gum instead of lube gum. Is the audio working? Probably. Should have checked that before. I think I saw that it was, but we'll check that while we're waiting for the next tower. Alright. Yeah, it looks like the mic is working and audio is up, so that's good to see. Hello. Yeah, with this new update, they switched it over to only having 1 floor of ghosts between each of the bosses, which will make grinding a lot easier in terms of keys, since a lot less time is spent on the ghost floors. In some ways that's kind of bad since it makes the event easier, but in other ways it is nice since it means I don't have to do as much. But I kind of feel bad for the people who grinded before this update, since they had to do a lot more grinding in terms of time than people now do. Which is kind of how updates work, but oh man, we actually missed that cycle. Whoops. Because we got hit. Need to pay a little bit more attention to this, don't I? Hello. Ooh, is the stream lagging? Ooh. Yeah, we're getting pretty badly bullied by Timber Scrooge. I think he is one of the harder bosses in this. I know Meep's pretty easy. I'm not sure about Nutcracker. I think Nutcracker's attacks are also pretty easy. planning on getting around 200 keys from this full grind session, which actually isn't enough for one mythical. I was hoping to be able to do enough grinding for one mythical during this first stream, but I think it'll probably be fine. Even with like all the passes in, both the event pass and also the double drop, boss drops game pass, it still does take a while to grind for keys. Getting everything this event may take a while. Probably like last event, I'll probably only go for a few of the mythicals. I don't think I've ever really cared for getting the mythical pet from updates, since it's never really worth as much or really as cool in my opinion as the board is. But we'll see what I feel like later. Really depends on how much I end up grinding and how much Beesmas takes time-wise, since I know Beesmas is kind of another thing that I need to also be grinding at the same time, so it'll be interesting to see how much time I have for this event. Trying to think how many snowflakes I need for this event. I know they added some new stuff in the shop. I haven't even bought any of the previous boards, and the only crates I've bought have been just for the quests. So we still need to do all of that snowflake stuff too on top of this stuff from keys. Although the main currency of the event usually doesn't take too long for me to grind, so not too worried about that. So I do get ridiculous amounts of snowflakes from each ghost. We'll probably take a quick look at that once we defeat Fluffy here and get all the keys from this tower. Since there's a little bit of time in between that, we can go take a small break. I can't imagine we'll need more than like 200,000 snowflakes for everything that we need snowflake-wise, so yeah, it should be relatively easy. At least compared to the amount of keys I need. Because I think key-wise, if I just want to get one of the multicolored boards and then everything else from the update, I still need like, I'd say 1,000 keys. That new 50 key chest is going to throw quite a bit of annoyances in my way, since quite expensive and it has the same amount of items as the 25 one, so we'll have to buy it just as much, basically. Oh, what went on there? Ah, okay. I don't really remember Fluffy from when the event came out. It was over 2 years, or over a year ago, almost 2 years now, I guess. But so not really surprising. But I feel like they did add some new news to it. I can't say for certain. Whatever the case is, it's still not too difficult because it is a 3-cycle boss. Alright. Wasn't too difficult, even though we were taking a little bit more damage than I would have liked. Yep, another 3 keys, and then we'll get another 2 when the tower officially ends. So, I get about, I think I get 14 keys per, which is actually quite a bit. But yeah, I wanted to go check out the shop. Still only 1 Christmas crate, that's good. Ouch. Teleport's annoying. But let's see, any other 37,000, 17, 55, 60, 70, around 80,000 snowflakes worth of boards to buy, so that's not too bad, I guess. We'll probably be able to finish that all up this session, I think. If we do continue using loot gum for sure, but even if we switch over to vac gum, I think we'll still be getting enough snowflakes to finish up all those snowflake stuff. But we'll see. I haven't done enough of the event to really know how it'll end up. I probably should have been, but I've been kind of doing Beesmas and other stuff like playing on Minecraft Realm recently. But yeah, I noticed that, or I've heard that there is purple Mythicals, so that's kind of my goal, but I also realized that in those 350 crates, there's like 4 different colored variants of the Mythicals, and so the chances of me actually getting a purple one isn't too high, and I don't want to go grind enough to get a guaranteed purple, so we may end up having to trade whichever one we get for a purple variant, if that's even possible. I don't really know what value is from this update yet. I really stopped following value and Ghost Simulator a long time ago, but yeah. We aren't using a loot gum this run, or at least this tower floor. It's not too big of a deal either way. One loot gum isn't going to make too much of a difference in the large scheme of things. Maybe we'll do a little bit better on this Scrooge than the last one, since the last one we took a lot of damage. It'll probably help if we manage to hit the 3 cycle of it instead of missing and turn it into a 4 cycle. It's interesting how there's like no delay between it starting that jump attack and the attack before. I think that throwing attack is kind of broken. I know when it's doing that attack and then it goes down, it still shows the animation of it throwing the orbs. So it may be that it doesn't actually know like the length of that attack or when to end it or something, but who knows. It is a bit glitchy, but that's kind of, it's fine. It's not too big of a deal on the large scope of things. Oh, did we actually miss that? We missed the cycle, so its shield basically instantly regenerated, which is the same thing that we had happen last time through the tower, which isn't the best for time. Alright, so it looks like we are going pretty slowly through this first floor. We'll probably get faster as we get along. I could go ahead and do this with like other people in public servers, and that would probably help speed it up, but I don't want to deal with the other people at this point in time, since if they aren't helping with the bosses turn into much slower, and just in general, it's not... I don't like doing it. I like doing it solo over working with other people. I mean, in a sense, yes, they are currently working on other projects. I think I've heard like 3 or 4 other projects that they've had in the works for a while now. So they don't really have the same amount of time to work on Ghost Simulator as they had during like the first year, where it's only Ghost Simulator that all 5 devs were working on. Now they're down to 4, and they have a few other projects that they're working on. So it kind of makes sense. Also, if you ask me, the tower was new enough for at least the last event that it made sense to just reuse bosses, since they had added the whole new tower mechanic. With this update, yeah, you could argue that it is just reusing like the Halloween update, since like Halloween update introduced a lot of new content type stuff with the 350 mythicals and the tower runs and all that stuff, the stuff that came with that, which was novel enough for it to work on that update. But yeah, with this update is kind of interesting that they just kind of are reusing all that information, but I still think it's fine since I kind of like this new design, and I have a lot of other content, or a lot of other stuff that I want to work on around this time, like Beesmiths and stuff, so having just a reuse is fine time-wise. Yeah, it's honestly sometimes hard to say with other people what exactly is going on, so giving benefit of doubt is usually a good idea, but yeah, who knows. I think everyone would prefer if they got like new bosses every event, but at some point new bosses even get old, since usually the attacks are pretty much the same, so it's mostly just a reskin of an older boss. It's really, though, up to each person. Whatever they do, someone will be annoyed that they did it that way and would have preferred the other thing. Like, if they change how stuff's laid out, there's going to be someone that liked the old way, and if they keep the old stuff, it's going to be people annoyed at that they didn't do something new. Yeah, with how close like Easter, it's really interesting this year, because the last I think 5 update cycles, so 10 weeks, which is a good portion of a year when you think about it, has been just events, and we still have another like 3 weeks of events left. So we haven't had any like new content-wise for the actual game in so long, and that's just kind of, I guess, how this time of year works for games that have events like that, since Halloween and Christmas are usually like back-to-back for most games, which I don't know how well that sits like with games themselves, but who knows. I certainly haven't developed a better game, so I can't really complain too much about how it works. Hello! Yeah, just doing a little bit of grinding, or a lot of bit of grinding in the Ghost Simulator Christmas update, but yeah. Yeah, I'm relatively small. Not very good at the YouTube stuff, but let's see. Portal. I don't know how I feel about the shortening of the floor. Like, the ghost floors. I mean, it makes sense since they were adding another boss to the tower to shorten it up. Otherwise, it'd end up being way too long. But in other respects, it does make it a lot easier to grind stuff, and, like, takes away half of the snowflakes you'd be getting. Which are another thing that grinding the tower is helpful with. I was kind of hoping, this was more not really realistic, but like instead of adding like Fluffy to this tower, I was kind of hoping that they do a whole new thing and have both a Mega Boss and the tower system implemented in the same event. I don't know how that would work, like from a technical standpoint, But I thought that'd be kind of cool to have both two different ways to grind keys in the event. As I said, I don't know how that would have worked, and it was not really realistic, but it would have kind of been cool to have both Fluffy as a Mega Boss and then also this whole tower system with like how it was before. Oh, that's an old video. I have no idea why that video got as many views as it did. It was pretty bad in terms of like thought out and implemented. It was just something I kind of thought would be cool to do, but yeah, a lot of people stumble across some of those random videos that end up becoming popular, despite not doing too much with them. But yeah. I think after this we'll probably be up to 50 keys. I don't know how much I started with, so probably shouldn't be saying anything. But I know I started with more than 25, so I think I will be over 50 keys when this tower's done. I've only spent 5 keys so far, so we can pretty easily figure out how many keys I've grinded this event. I also have all these Smith's presents that I know some of them will contain keys that will help with the grinding. Not enough to be overpowered. Probably like 1 to 5 keys, but enough to help with a small bit. Oh, okay, we're already over 50. We have 60 keys. I didn't think I'd done that much grinding beforehand, but I was kind of just playing around for a little bit in Ghost Simulator for like an hour or two a few times, so. At some point we also do need to get some Christmas loot bags, since there's some cool stuff in there that I do want to get. I don't know how many we will need to get everything from it, but I'm assuming probably 100 will do. Yeah, Ghost Simulator, I've spent probably more than my fair share of time playing Ghost Simulator. And honestly, I'm nowhere close to what some other people have spent time-wise. But I like my progress so far on Ghost Simulator, so. But yeah, I know most people are usually not even done with their first rebirth yet, or barely past their first rebirth is, I think, around the average. So, that sense I'm way beyond average. It's a pretty time-intensive game, though, so you can't really blame people. I know, like, before I got to college, school took a lot of time, and so didn't really have as much time as I do now to grind, and I know other people have way less time than I had then, too, so I'm not really surprised that no one's really far into the game, or a lot of people are pretty back there. Hello! Yeah, as I was, 1 rebirth in level 20 and 10 that's not bad actually, time-wise. I probably am going through these floors a little slower than what I was oh, I wasn't even vacuuming, was I? I should probably be paying a little more attention to what's going on. So I don't end up missing more cycles like that. We should still be fine, but it's just going to take slightly longer than it usually does. And by usually, I mean what other people told me they were getting on average. Since I haven't done towers, this is like, as I said, this is like my second time grinding into tower now that it's been changed around a little bit. Which, it's the second time this stream that I've done the tower, so you can see that I haven't really done the tower too much in its current form. So I don't really have a good benchmark for where I want to get time-wise each time. Go through the exit. Man, I have a lot of random items that I need to convert at some point. Ugh. Teleport's annoying. But yeah, I think I did a lot of grinding in Backdoor, like, way back in Thanksgiving. I've never really converted the items there, so whenever I do need, I do have a bit of glitchy gum I can go ahead and make. Well, I don't really need any of it since I already have a ton of all the glitchy gum I'll ever really need. Probably, actually, I'm thinking about, we'll probably go equip some glitchy back gum just to make the tower go by a little bit faster. Yeah, I'm not very good at scheduling streams when people can make them, am I? They're always in those odd times where, like, no one can actually make it to the stream. It's probably think a little bit harder when I do schedule these streams, but not really working. Yeah, vacuum will make the tower go by a little bit quicker, hopefully. I mean, I still need to, like, actually vacuum ghosts, but... At some point I should probably get together some people that are good at this tower. I know I have a few friends, or I know a few people that are decent at Ghost Similar that would probably, if we all got together, go through the tower much quicker than I do solo. But I don't really know if as I said before, I don't really like doing the tower with other people. Just too many variables I can't control, and just feels a little slower in my opinion. But even though it is faster for sure, I just don't like it, I guess. Yeah, doing the tower is not too difficult in itself, and honestly getting other people's help is probably the way to do it. But I'm kind of a solo, like to do stuff solo, so. Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of stuff in Bee Swarm Simulator that I still need to do from the Beesmas update, since I've not been really grinding it out like other people have, and it's just been casual for me, so there's lots of stuff that I could find to do on Bee Swarm Sim. Honestly, I think the main thing why Ghost Simulator won on people's voting is because that's what most people are watching my channel or on my channel for, is Ghost Simulator, since that's kind of the bigger thing I do. Or not the bigger thing, it's smaller than Bee Swarm Sim in Minecraft, but it's the more niche thing that I do, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but it's what more people are in my channel for in the first place, so it's more likely going to win. Yeah, solos. Yeah, you have to know how to solo, and sometimes it's just too slow to be worth it. Especially if you don't know how to do solo, it's like not even worth trying. Yeah, last time I looked at the poll, I think was yesterday. I didn't look at it recently before hearing the stream. It was like yesterday when I decided that, Ghost Simulator it is. It was like 50% had voted Ghost Simulator, like 1 or 2 people had voted Minecraft, and then the rest had voted for Bee Swarm. So it wasn't too close, but yeah, it's... Bee Swarm's very popular even among the people that play Ghost Simulator, so it's not too much of a surprise in my opinion that some people would have preferred me to do Bee Swarm Sim over Ghost Simulator, since they prefer, even though they do play both, they prefer like Bee Swarm Sim over Ghost Simulator. But yeah. No, not really a surprise that Minecraft lost that one. At this point, I don't know how much I'm really keeping track of my Minecraft content. It literally, it gets like the least amount of views and stuff. It's fun to make, but I can do Minecraft without recording it too, so I usually end up just playing it whenever I'm bored and not recording, which probably not good when I do have a technical episodes that I keep doing on it, but that's how it is, I guess. Like currently for my last episode of the realm, I've made like so much progress that it like catching up would, I'd probably have to spend a whole episode going over everything I've done since then, and just it gets bad quickly. And like the more I don't record, the more behind I get, and yeah, it's a vicious cycle of not working out pretty well. I mean, I still need to grind. I'm super, like, I know a lot of the heavy grinders have, like, finished everything in one day, but, like, it takes me a while to get through those quests, and I'm still working through all the main quests, too, so I'm a ways behind on Bee Swarm Sims, so there's a lot of stuff that I can record on. I think I have around half an episode currently recorded. Again, who knows if I'll make it, but sometimes those things just get trashed before they even I even get to editing them, just because I don't feel like recording the rest of them. It's sometimes interesting how much I feel like making videos one day and then the next I don't even feel like touching OBS or recording anything, so. Yeah, weekly updates is probably a good way to do it so that the endgame people don't end up cruising through it all at one time. Keeps everyone a little bit more ahead and allows people time to catch up. Yeah, the mid-game content is... I will have to like get up to endgame to really get full benefit of all this. All that's being released in Beastmas, which I don't think is possible in the next, even if I played like 24/7 in the next however many days I have, like 50 days. Oh, that time keeps going down. I'm like, at first I was like, oh, 60 days. I have tons of time to finish this update. And now I realize, like, I've already wasted, or already used like a sixth of that time. So, I really do need to keep grinding in Beast Form, don't I? Yeah, as I said, a lot of the endgame people are cruising through that content, whereas you're like me, I'm about halfway through now, maybe. Probably less. Yeah, it takes a long time, doesn't it? Oh, hopefully we still make that cycle. We did. Phew. I'm always concerned about missing my cycles for these bosses. It adds so much more time to the whole thing to miss a cycle. Well, so much more a little bit. Five legendary puff shrooms? Or mythic puff shrooms? I haven't even seen a legendary mythic puff shroom. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to guess that. Like, 1,000 gumdrops is, I mean, it's a bit expensive, yes, but it's not too hard to go get 1,000 gumdrops. Well, yeah, it's level 17 is probably the minimum. 5 seconds left. There's the issue. I was like, level 17 is probably doable for endgame players, but no, 5 seconds left. No, that's kind of the worst when they spawn when you have so little time left and you can't do it in time, so you just have to watch them disappear. Yeah, I have a lot to do in Beastmas. I haven't completed Buck or Riley B for the event, which not too much of a surprise. I still need to go through like all the quests they released in the second part of it. Yeah, I have a lot to do. The new waxes are interesting. I'm glad that V-equips are now like available, like, or hopefully will be available the whole time. I know, like, I was kind of annoyed that V-equips were Beastmas locked, and now I realize you only can have 5 equipped at a time, which makes even less sense in that they're limited to an event. But at least with both of those together, it wasn't missing too much in terms of like only having 5 V-equips isn't too massive of a difference to lose out on. I mean, there's still those really rare ones like the wreath for gifted bee and the antlers for like puppy bee that are really good, but other than those two, those are endgame anyways, so it wasn't too big of a deal, I guess, not having those V-equips. Oh, you can actually equip up to 15? Interesting. Was there like... Is there some other, like, you can have multiple cases, or what? Was there, like, upgrades to the case or something? I'm not really sure. Festive bee, not gifted bee. They're all... whirly gigs are the bane of my existence. You can only use one every 5 minutes, and Honest Crest takes 25. Also, you can equip more. Just had to do Bee Bear's quest last year. I haven't seen this one before. Okay. Whoa, where did... That's kind of annoying. They'll probably bring it back this year, like, just because. But yeah. Okay, that makes a little more sense. It makes it a little more annoying that you miss those events. It likes this attack, doesn't it? It's a weird rolling motion. It's a weird rolling motion with them being eggs instead of spheres. But yeah. Yeah, no, I think the Easter bosses are just taking over Ghost Similar at this point. Probably because they were the, I don't know, like, reality. I think they just needed some cool mechanic to intertwine some more lore and stuff, so that's probably what they did. But yeah. It's not too bad in my opinion. Dapper Bear will give you more, but yeah, I would hope that the event limited stuff don't become a boost for like permanent stuff like V-equips, but who knows. It's V-Storm Sim. They can do what they want, I guess. Oh yeah, honeysuckles? They don't look too difficult. I think they're drop rates. They don't drop enough. But like they're pretty bad, so you'd think, and they're needed for a few crafting recipes too, so you would think that they would be more common than what they are. I mean, I don't know how much they drop from like higher puff shrooms or planters or stuff, so can't say for certain that they don't drop enough. But it is looking like they don't drop enough for everything you need them for. Yeah, that's another option, is allowing people that didn't get those 10 V-equips to get them again this year. I mean, it still would be really rude, in my opinion, to have stuff like that event locked. Since people who don't play during events just miss out on, like, a ton of, like, progression just because they weren't playing then. But yeah. Interesting. Blue Flower, Rose Field, and Sunflower Field. Yeah, really hard to get. I mean, it does balance it out in some ways, having it really hard to get. But still having event lock stuff like that is kind of annoying for endgame players that miss the events. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it didn't really make much sense for me, or wasn't really missing much not having the be equipped. It just was annoying to see stuff like that that's helpful that you can't get because it was event locked. But yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming by destroyed you mean like after you use them there's a little bit of a delay or something for you to have to go select another field with your planter first. To make sure that you get a variety of different boosts or fields, or so you can't just farm one thing or something like that. But yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming it, like... Yeah, but if you just, like, switch over to a different field, you can wait a little while to rest them up or something, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, just plant in a variety of fields and the problem goes away. There's enough fields that you can switch around into that you shouldn't have too much of an issue, I would think. As I said, I'm not really an endgame player, so I can't say for certain, but I would guess that there's enough different fields that you can use that it's not too big of a deal, but yeah. Yeah, no, it kind of makes sense, like, to have it that way so that people are forced to do a variety instead of just spamming the same, like, 3 fields over and over again for the same boost each time. Or for the same items, just to force some variety. I mean, you could argue that forcing variety isn't really how it should be. It should be balanced, that you should want that variety. But, like, after, like, Beesmith settles down and people aren't like forced to do quests, it may change like which fields people want and make the variety make a little more sense. But I don't really know. I haven't played enough to tell for certain stuff. I mean, if it is that big of an issue as you guys are making it out, I'm sure, like, they already know that it's a problem, and endgame players don't like it, and we'll figure out some fix or another for it, but yeah. Oh, is the same over one of the endgame planters? I saw that there are endgame planters. I just wasn't aware of like names and stuff for them. I have only up to the candy planters, so can't don't really know anything after that. That's all I'm really worried about is the stuff I can get right now. Planter of Plenty. Endgame Planter? Yeah. Okay. The one that costs 100 trillion. Yeah, that one was crazy. I'm like, oh wow, there's something that costs 100 trillion honey. Ugh. Yeah, I know. I have collected all the quests. I haven't, as it said, they're pretty long, so I haven't done them yet. But yeah. Oh, the Samover is like the kind of the special the business item that you get from his business quest. That makes a little more sense. But yeah, 6.5 hour delay. I mean, not too bad. You can do that like twice a day pretty easily. Which, if it gives you good enough rewards, is kind of overpowered. Yeah, the turpentine looks like a lot more like, I know like all the items also have item uses, but like a lot of them are just more of resources, it looks like. Like turpentine is mostly for crafting that stuff. I guess once you buy all the stuff you need to with it, that Horn of Plenty does give you turpentines back for using it, so... Who knows? I mean, since you do get turpentines back from that Planter of Plenty, it may be worth it to go for that first so you can get more turpentines faster. Faster as in a 24-hour in-game wait, but you know. Yeah, the quests are going to be probably the main source of people's rare craftables like that. Like it usually is for games. The quests usually give you the majority of the craftables you need, or a decent amount of them at least. That Mary Mondo bundle looks so cool to get. Although knowing me, I'll probably end up missing it since I don't grind 24/7 on the game. Yeah, sometimes your hive really does hurt getting some of those quests, but currently I'm not, I'm mid-game, so I'm not really worried about like hive color and stuff like that, so it's kind of weird getting through those quests that some people struggle with because they have a white or red hive. Yeah, no, as a mid-game player, I have a lot more content to cover that update. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that I also need to do, like school now, since that started yesterday for me. And also Ghost Simulator, but I should have enough time to get at least a decent amount of business done Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm nowhere near those gifted star thingies that are overpowered. But I've seen that, like, getting those double boosts from, like, passives. Just super rare is, like, 1% or something I saw. So, would take a while and is nice probably once you get them, but yeah. Hello! Yeah, currently it looks like we're talking a lot about Beastform Sim, which doesn't makes a little bit of sense, I guess, but yeah. Grinding keys and also snowflakes for the Go Similar update. I think we're at 100 maybe now? Probably not. Let's go see. 96, so almost 100. I think we're doing around roughly a 15-minute cycle for this tower. Maybe slightly slower, but not too much slower. Yeah, there's so much stuff to do in Beastmas with all the... Beastform Sim with the new Beastmas update. I'm never going to understand half of it, but yeah. That overcharge probably wasn't worth it for this, but we'll stick with it, I guess. Interesting. That's probably going to make us miss the cycle with all that. But yeah, you guys are all talking about way endgame stuff that I don't quite understand. I know what passives are. You're talking about like some of the star stuff, boosts from the star amulet area, but yeah, no, I still way mid-game in Beastform Sim. Still working on my gifted epics. I think I still have 3 gifted epics or maybe it was 2. I think I got another one recently, but I still have to get like 3 of them, and yeah. No, yeah, I think though I might be able to. I think soon I'm able to buy my second, or yeah, it's my third Star Treat, but I buy a second. Do my second buying of a. Second one I've bought, like, but the third one I've used. How do I describe that? But whatever, I should be able to get another Star Treat soon. So, Tabby Bee will be gifted then. I know one of my friends who was also mid-game, around where I was, he's been playing Bee Swarm Sim like a lot and has made tons of progress on himself. So I know if I put in the time, I can probably do that too. But been little bit lazy in that respect. Interesting, we still have the particle effects from the from when we were doing the Timber Scrooge fight. I don't remember exactly what they were for, so I mean, I feel a little slower, but I'm not sure if it was one of the slowing down things that was going on. I'm just going to hope that everything's normal and it'll fix by the time we get around to our next one. But who really knows? Ouch. It's probably better just to stand still, or relatively still, when that attack goes on. But like, getting hurt during a boss fight's not too big of a deal as long as you're still shooting at the boss. Doesn't hurt you time-wise, and it's easy enough to avoid getting corrupted out of the game, so that's not too big a deal. Yeah, that's my goal, using Star Treats on Tabby Bee, since all the other bees you can eventually get gifted by treats or get lucky with using Royal Jelly. So Star Treats go on event bees first, and then probably just get saved for maybe Mythicals if you need them, but probably just since I think I saw that it was easy enough to get gifted Mythicals once you start getting endgame anyways, so there's no real reason to use them on Mythicals. But who knows? Maybe it is, and I'm not understanding endgame correctly. Should be to the end. this a room in the ending? It's interesting having a boss every other floor. It means that a lot of the gum gets wasted, but gum's not really... It's going to waste my inventory anyways, so no real reason to worry too much about it. Running out of an item is the same as never using it effectively, so not too big of a deal. How is anyone really at endgame yet? And if so, what is like the color? I know before it was like red was the best color, but like with the new bees and new planters and stuff, has like the best color actually changed, or is it still red that's best for making endgame honey and stuff? Hello, mini tiny YouTube. Blue is the meta now? That's interesting. Yeah, I'm assuming like white was just kind of in the background for the longest time. Yeah, but with all the other boosts to like red and white, I wouldn't think that the small stat difference in like the end game like wand would outdo the other boosts for like red and white. But who knows? I'm not really Beastworm Simverse, so I'll trust your guys' judgment on that. No, I think it was pretty clear that like red was the best before this update, for sure, but yeah. I mean, people were probably doing white on the test realm to balance out for like everything, since it's white's going to be at least halfway decent at red and blue. So doing quests in the test realm is probably one of the big things that they want to do. But yeah, test realm really I wouldn't say is a good example of what's going to go on in this game, probably since some variables are going to change, but also because people are going to be doing a little bit more meme-y stuff, like grinding just one thing in particular, like the sunflower field, to see how far they can get or stuff like that, but who knows. Let's see, how many, we're at 105 keys. Once we defeat this, we'll get another 5 keys, so we'll be, 5 keys. So we'll be up to 110 keys once we finish up this fight. And the tower ends. Yeah, I mean, that would be the goal, is to make red, white, and blue equally good. Maybe different, but still, like, good enough in, like, making honey, completing quests and stuff like that, or other stuff, but yeah. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, I've had snow at my place for a while now. It was pretty deep. I think we had over 1.5 feet of snow. And it's slowly melting away, but yeah, snow's interesting to have. Alright, that's good. Not going to go do that spammy jump attack to get away from my attacks, are you? I'm going to say that, and then for like the next 3 minutes, all it's going to do is jumpy attacks that get away from my shots. We should have closed chat or my in-game Roblox chat a while ago, since it does get in the way a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I still need to clean out my board storage a little bit. I did so with my I cleaned out my pet storage a while ago, like this morning. But so I actually have some space and pets now, which is really interesting. I'm not used to that. Last time I really noticed my board number, or my pet number, I was like 1,100 or something, and it was bad over my maximum stuff. But boards, I still have a little bit of deleting to do, like flying funguses and all the boards from the let's see, the Thanksgiving event that I got too many of and now need to go through and delete. Keep shooting the boss is about the only thing that's doing, vacuuming the cycles. I don't know, just try your best, I guess. I mean, there lots of it's hard to describe how to really do bosses. I mean, I can try, but basically all you do is avoid attacks and shoot. So, learning how to attack patterns and having a decent enough computer/Wi-Fi to not lag out during them is, like, the best you can really do on it. And, like, have the variables of your computer and stuff aren't really something you can control very easily. We missed that one. Unlocked. Yes. Glitchy boss gum works on everything. I wouldn't recommend using it on the ghostly vision bosses because, like, they're easy enough to grind without. And, like, time-wise, it's just not really worth it to use gum on anything that takes less than, like, 15 minutes to do, or sorry, 7.5 minutes, or somewhere along there. Since it takes a certain amount of time to grind a boss gum, it isn't worth using less than that amount of, like, math just doesn't work out to make it worth it to go use it on it. I mean, that's like canceling out all the other gums that you get, of course, and just kind of assuming like boss gum's the only gum you're caring about grinding, which is not the case. But still, there's other bosses that you use that take longer, so it's more worth it to use the boss gum on. For example, final boss. That's the one I'd recommend using your boss gum on, since it takes the longest. But as I said, you can really use boss gum on anything that is a boss. To get back to the question. And because we got hit right before he fell, we did miss the cycle, which is slightly annoying. And also looks like your FPSs are dropping, so that's also not fun. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff with Rebirths that people don't quite understand. Like you should go do Master Hunter first, or if you're planning on getting a few Rebirths, doing Master Hunter first will save you a lot of time. But yeah. No, you're fine. Actually, going for the mini bosses, the Ghostly Vision mini bosses, is actually fine. Especially if you're only going, like most people are only going to go for like 1, 2, or 3 rebirths. So actually doing that is better than Master Hunter. It's just like there's some nuances with like the best ones depending on what you're doing. So, what would I consider the mid game of Ghost Simulator? I think I would consider that to be around that'd be like between your first time playing through the game and your first rebirth. Anyone in that area, or like after your backdoor for the first time to your first rebirth. I don't know. I'm trying to explain this. Anyone in their first rebirth is mid game in my opinion, along with like anyone that's in like backdoor for the first time would also be mid game in my opinion. Anyone after that is sort of late game-ish, but like there's obviously end game's going to be grinding rebirths, so like anyone with like 2 or 3 plus rebirths been grinding rebirths in our end game. I mean, it depends on like what pet stats you have too a little bit, but yeah, I'd say early game is going to be like main hub, Ghost World's first time playing through. What update was Wind Wave Hoverboard? I'm not good on like those off the top of my head. You can go check over on like the wiki. They'll probably have the information there. Yeah, looking on the wiki now. Godly Board, limited store. Doesn't have it on the page, it doesn't look like, but probably if you go to like the limited store page on the wiki, you'll probably be able to find it easily enough. Like the date at least for it. Probably along with the update, but yeah. It was a while ago, I guess. I think that was like early last year. I don't know exactly what you mean by that question. I'm going to assume you mean how do you get Rift Gum? It's a rare drop from turning in gum, which most people aren't going to be able to get. You can get lucky and get it, and people have, but it takes quite a bit of grinding to like actually get one without luck. And honestly, anything but glitchy Rift Gum is useless. So, it's real for sure. I have a basic one currently in my inventory, so, but it's not really going to be very useful, so I'm going to end up just using it to figure out what its multi is, using the ghosts in the void. Yeah, glitchy loot gum is worth a decent, I mean in large quantities like 500, can be worth a decent amount, like that. I would believe people saying that it is worth that much. I mean, it depends on the limited store item and like how much the person who is trading the limited store item needs like loot gum, but yeah, as a general, yeah, it's worth a decent amount, both those two stuff. But yeah, basic Rift Gum I have. Basic Rift Gum and Ghostly Rift Gum are basically worthless, but yeah, they still exist. Glitchy Rift Gum, though, is worth a decent amount. And yeah, Loot Gum is also pretty good for some people and is decently used a bit for trading, since some people really, especially those that don't have like the double drops game pass like I do, struggle a bit with grinding gums, so having that Loot Gum for them provided for with trades and stuff is help for them. And also people like me can't always use all our Loot Gum anyways, so it works. A lot of people do end up doing trades like that. Hopefully I can get, I'm hoping I can get, like, grind enough to get the purple, mythical from this event. I don't know exactly if there may be 2 of them, but, like, I want to get at least my hands on 1, since they are pretty purple stuff, so that's kind of my goal for the event. But I don't know, since it's like a 1 in 4 chance of every 350 having it. It would turn out to be a lot of grinding if I don't get it on my first try. So we'll see how much I actually go for. But yeah. Oh yeah, rebirthing during an event is kind of weird. Most people I don't think have rebirthed in like the last 3-4 months now. So that's actually really interesting to see that no one's really rebirthed in Ghost Similar for a very long time. It is impossible because you can't unbox hoverboard crates without having your hoverboard. It's a very technicality. You don't have a hoverboard, you can't unbox hoverboard crates, so you can't complete Agent Blaze's quests because he requires you to unbox hoverboards. So it is impossible to do it without completing like Adam's quest. Now you could do it without equipping the hoverboard in theory, and it wouldn't actually be too hard. It may take a little bit longer since you're slower moving around, but yeah, it's not too hard. All of the bosses are relatively easy without a board. Even if you go you can even just use gum too to cheat around the no board, because you can use zoom gum to make yourself faster. So basically makes the board obsolete. But yeah, you still do lose a little bit with that hoverboard. I'd recommend everyone getting the hoverboard first, since it really helps you move through the game and all that fun stuff. But yeah. No, I think it's possible even... Yeah, I mean, it does depend, and Ghost Worlds does get a little bit interesting. But if you are just going, no, hoverboard, you can go cheat and get the jetpack from Riley before doing Blaze. But yeah, rings may be difficult for you to do without the hoverboard and like Ghost World and stuff. Also, like, I'm trying to remember if Blaze has you do any obbies. I don't actually think so. So you don't need the hoverboard for that at all. So yeah, I think it's... Anyways, you can cheat and just go, as I said, gum. You can go use bunny gum to go through anything like that you do have to do. Or zoom gum if you have the height already and you just need the distance. There's enough options that you have that you can get around like hoops and stuff pretty easily just using gum. So it's more of the difficulty is 1, it is impossible to unlock a board crate since you don't have the board unlocked, and 2, it's much slower, so not even really worth trying. But yeah. Diddy Pet or Rainwave Pet? Well, they're basically worthless. I mean, Corrupteds have a little bit of value because they have stats. Rainwave has a little bit of value because it's somewhat rare. But in the end, they're both useless, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, whichever one you prefer is probably the better one. I mean, without a pet, I'd assume you mean without, like, using any pets. Not without unboxing any pets. Like, anyways, without using any pets, it's, I mean, technically, it's possible. No, it isn't because of how much time it would take, though. You'd be spending probably, yeah, I think for Ghosts in the, like, Dragonfly Ghosts, you'd probably be spending the longest, and at a time. Yeah, no, I think that would be well over 24 hours. That's probably a huge underestimation of it. It'd probably be closer to a week for a single Dragonfly Ghost that you need for, like, gatekeepers. So no pets is impossible, just because you can't vacuum ghosts. But yeah. No, it doesn't auto-equip pets. Like, right now, if we go ahead and unequip, or go to our empty pet team, what was this one? Mini Detriment. And go unbox the pet, it won't auto-equip it. I mean, we need to do this anyway, so might as well do it now. But yeah, I don't think it auto-equips. It may, but yeah, no, okay, it doesn't. So, no, it won't auto-equip. Alpha Vortex hoverboard, it was given just for testers, and most of them don't really want to trade it since it is a tester-only item. But yeah, it's rare, it's valuable, doesn't really matter in my opinion, since, like, most people with tester won't actually trade it, so it's not really worth it. I mean, in my opinion, stuff like that, like tester items, shouldn't have been tradable in the first place, but I guess, like, giving them the option of trading it can be useful. I don't know. It's not really. It's interesting. Anyways. Alright, we're about 1.5 hours into this stream so far, so that's pretty good. I think we're still on pace for, like, just doing 15 minutes per floor, or not floor, per tower, so that was about the pace I was expecting, so that's good to see that we are on pace for that. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, this stream may end up being a little bit shorter because I might have stuff to do, like, or I might end it sooner than the 4 hours I have it listed in the description, but probably will be at least 3 hours long. So we still have about an hour and a half left. Yeah, I mean, anyone tester and above does get access to it, so it's. Ow, we got hit. We are lagging badly. I do need to lock this. Nah, it's not really. It's like duplication is so niche. It, like, inventing something that would be that'd be so annoying. like duplication is it's weird how duplication ends up working. It's like, I think the ways usually end up like getting into the code or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but I would assume that has something to do with using some code against the program or something. But in any case, like, it's not like duplication isn't something that's that easy to code against. Anyways, a 48-hour, that would be a ridiculous time to not have someone be able to trade something. For instance, if you unlock a classified and you instantly want to accept a deal, or you've been hunting for a classified for a while for like someone else and you want to gift it to them, there's no reason to put a trade lock for that. I don't know what you mean by that question. I mean, the NPCs in Ghost Sim are kind of spaced in a order, so you have to do one before doing the next, before doing the next. So, which one should you do first? It's kind of the first one in the game, Adam, or Gabe if you're playing the game for the first time, but oh, yeah, I mean, trades are actually easy enough to patch that. But, like, still, like, blocking trades because of duplication is not worth it. You can easily, or I say easily, relatively easily build a trading mechanism that doesn't allow for duplication. And even if people do duplicate, it's usually easy enough to tell if they're making a big impact. And if they aren't making a big impact, it's not too big of a deal at that point. It's still annoying to have duplication, but yeah, no, duplication is not really nothing that you should be limiting the game's like playability by like limiting trades and stuff because of duping. It should be more like specific to like people who are duping and patching up bugs where duping occurs and stuff like that. But yeah. Doing Jesse is helpful. Adam, Jesse, Finsley is helpful. I mean, not necessary if you already have Master Hunter, but helpful. And then after that, you really can just kind of skip to Gatekeeper. If you're just going for a rebirth, skip to like Lee or Yoko, then Gatekeeper, and then straight up to Blaze. But yeah, Yoko is important just for like questline stuff, but like doing Leo doesn't hurt since that's nice having that heavy armor, especially if you're going to be playing for a while on your current rebirth. I think it's really up to what you want to do, to be honest. Some players, if they really want to fast rebirth, are going to skip basically every quest line, whereas if you are planning on chilling on your current rebirth for a while, you might want to do every quest line. Yeah, no, it makes no sense to do it that way. It really hurts the game, like, to have, like, locked stuff like that, and then also misses, like, half the point of it, since it hurts way more than it helps, is what I'm trying to say. Like, duplication isn't a problem in Ghost Simulator, so there's no reason to have something against that. If you ever make a game, like, where you are having trading and stuff, you can implement those own rules yourself and see how well they work to stop duplication. And my guess is with those implementations, wouldn't be helpful whatsoever, like in stopping duplication, since half the time when they are duplicating like trading stuff, I'm guessing like it's just a pure duplicate of the original item, which if that isn't trade locked, the new one won't be trade locked, and it just turns into a whole big mess really easily. And then, as I said, hurts everyone who wants to trade their classifieds. Yeah, it hurts trading a lot more than it hurts dupers, is what I'm trying to say. It's not really a good idea, or rule, or whatnot. Now, on the other hand, serializing somehow items isn't too bad of an idea. Of course, it'd be still hard to implement, like serialization of items, but not impossible. But even that's probably a little too overkill for preventing duping, especially like in Roblox where there's so much backdooring anyways. Like, duplication isn't, it is a problem, and it is a big problem, but there's not too much like developers can do against that, like all things considered. So yeah. I don't think I have any classified pets. I have a few hoverboards though, so most of them I really just got lucky with getting. Yeah, all Varus and Glowjet I got really lucky getting when just I was joking around with boxes or wasting gems for rebirth since I'd had too much or something. So got really lucky with those. I did grind for a little bit for the other ones. I think Feather Shock, I was joking around with someone complaining about someone unboxing too many godlies, so I went ahead and unboxed a few godlies of my own as quickly as possible, and I ended up getting the Feather Shock on accident. But the Sky Surfer, I think I grinded a decent amount more. But yeah, it's nothing really too valuable. I mean, no one... people unbox like Glowjet like 15 minutes. It's crazy how good some people are at getting classifieds just because they have so many gems and have grinded so long. Like even myself, if I wanted to, I can basically get any classified I want. I mean, it'll take me like probably 3 or 4 days of pretty consistent grinding in specific areas to get a classified. But I could relatively easily get a classified. Like Gem 1. The other ones, like the developer crate classifieds and the ones from the Void, are a different deal entirely and are basically impossible for any one person to guarantee you get one. Well, yeah, of course I have an Alpha Vortex. It's something given to every single tester, and I'm a tester for Ghost Simulator, so not too much of a surprise there. Go. Yeah, I still don't think like locking trades for potentially duplicated items like that's worth it, like whatsoever. Like, more effective is just locking down your trade system to be a little bit more secure. Which, I mean, does sound difficult on the surface, and I'm sure is not as easy as I make it sound by saying it isn't difficult. But I'm sure there's at least a way to do it. Because it's kind of cool having classified stuff in that rare of crates. I think it's a great idea. Because basically anyone can get crate keys, which is the best way to unbox those crates at the same rate. It makes it a kind of a fair fight for everyone-ish for getting the items. I mean, technically those who will like boss drops can go ahead and grind keys a lot faster, but like crate keys are a decent option too for those crates, which you mostly get from quests. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a pain for any one person to get, but if you stop thinking about like one person, like the community as a whole, it's easy enough to see that it's kind of a cool idea, rather than just yourself getting them. Keys are we at now? 136, 138 once this tower officially finishes. Yeah, we're making good progress, I think, key-wise. But buying the event pass probably is going to help a bit, but yeah. Not doing any at the moment. And honestly, I don't know how much I feel about giveaways. Like, I mean, they're cool, but it's hard to structure them in a way that's, like, fair to everyone. Doing them on Discord's easy for me, and usually the best way I like to do them. But I realize not everyone has access to Discord or wants to join Discord. And I don't really have any good way to set them up over YouTube, like officially, or not really officially, but like using like a different website or anything like that. So anyways, usually when I do giveaways, it's usually small stuff for me, like loot, like small amounts of loot gum, or random stuff from events that I don't need. So yeah, usually not stuff that most people actually find useful. I usually don't have enough good stats either. Like most people are going to get better stats from just entering codes than they will be from any of the giveaways I do, which I don't know if that's really a problem with my giveaways. It's more of just how Ghost Simulator works currently, but yeah. The problem with increasing like stats of like ghosts, or increasing spawn times of ghosts, or increasing like stuff like specific to ghosts is like ghosts are global things. So if you increase the health of ghosts for one player and you don't for another, that doesn't work globally. If you see how, like in a public server, and even in a private server, it's going to be still difficult to like code it so that, oh, one player, oh, they have the global health boost of this amount. It's not really interesting. What? Oh, Vix is into dev. I'm assuming by that you mean Royal. Yeah, Vix is just another YouTuber for Ghost Simulator. Royal, though, the reason why he doesn't have a head is he joined the team after the final boss fight was added. Back when then, it was still a 5-developer team. But once they got through all that lore stuff they'd planned for like the first part of the game, those developers had other stuff that they wanted to do and sort of left development. But yeah. Yeah, I just don't think like something that affects the ghost will never really happen. Bosses maybe, ghosts no, because of how they are globally done. So yeah. In my opinion, I'm not really good at values and stuff for, especially like classifieds like that. Like when Wormhole and all those came out, I thought they'd be pretty much worthless after a little bit. And so that's still what my opinion on them is that they are worthless, which isn't quite true, about them items, but so, I can't really help you with what something is value worth. I mean, I am also somewhat biased against like obtainable items like classifieds that you can get at any point, since I feel like that decreases the rarity, and I do my values a little bit more on rarity than on some people who value a little bit more on demand. And so yeah, really value is a little bit interesting to try to share with other people. I don't know about anything really about V-Swarm Sim. I think that was the easiest tower floor I've ever seen. That was a straight line of ghosts with 0 rooms in it. That was pretty simple. That was interesting. About 20 seconds to go through it all. Wish all the floors were like that. Make it so much easier to do solo. I mean, with more people, it's better to have it branch out so you guys can actually go branch out. But like solo, it's so much nicer just having that straight hallway. I think having the quest items be different rarities makes a lot more sense than having them be their own rarity. Like, look at Chipmunk versus 8-Bit. One you get on the first quest of Dylan, one you get on the 7th quest. It makes sense for them to be different rarities. Although you do have a point that some things, like the rarity doesn't match up because they are quest items, so they're more or less rare than what you would think based on the rarity. But like that even works with like non-quest items. Like for instance, if you look at classifieds like Rainwave, it's pretty common classified. Whereas if you look at like developer classifieds, they are not common classifieds whatsoever, despite being the same rarity. So it confuses it more by having a whole different rarity for all quest items than it would be than it is currently. I mean, maybe having a different like tag for them. So like how we have the event and limited tags for the event and limited items, having like a quest tag. Not bad idea, not needed, but not bad either. I could see that, but like having a whole different rarity makes 0 sense in my opinion. Just like it made no sense to me to have like the divine rarity with the single divine item when it was just the Ghostly Glider and Oculus Overseer pet in the rebirth perks. Now that there's 2, it makes a little more sense having that divine rarity, but like before it didn't really make sense to have a whole different divine rarity for them. Would have made the same amount of sense to have just put them in corrupted, just being a single one, but as it is right now, I think it's fine. What doesn't make sense is how the corrupted rarity is above the classified rarity, despite classifieds being in the same crates as corrupteds at a much rarer chance. So, if you want to go talk about rarities, that's something that is actually an interesting issue. Oh, our overcharge is on cooldown. I think currently though, Ghost Simulator in general is just kind of, no matter really what updates are added or what content's added, Ghost Simulator is kind of past its popularity time. So eventually a new game will come out from Bloxvite that is going to be hopefully decently popular since their last game was so good. But we'll see. But yeah, I don't think Ghost Simulator has too much more like good it's going to have good content, but it's not going to have too much more popularity left in it. Once games like hit this long, if they have this much content, it's basically impossible for them to release good content for everyone, since new players are way far behind and old players have already finished everything and are really and need a lot of content to really keep them satisfied. So it's an interesting, like, it's always an interesting to see how games like balance out that. Well, I mean, yeah, no, but still, it doesn't make sense to have that be its own thing. Have quests be their own thing and like other stuff not be. Yeah, you do have a point about it being consistent, but there's other examples. I mean, like rares probably somewhere have some discrepancy. Honestly, like at that point, you might as well add a new one for codes, and that makes just as much sense as quests, but also makes just as not as much sense, since like having different stats spread similar to the rarities is so much different. But yeah. Alright, this is I think the 8th tower that we've done. I think I'll do at least 2 more and then we'll see. But I'm thinking about ending it sometime soon. Don't know how much more I have left to grind. Actually, I have a lot more keys left to grind, but I don't know how much more like will I have left to grind. These towers do take a while to do. Alright, we'll have to get teleport them. Yeah, except that doesn't really, it turns into a whole big deal. I think the way they have it working right now is fine. Grouping is always an issue with like games or other, like grouping stuff is always interesting to figure out to do and stuff like this. Like grouping, how do you group by rarities? How do you group by topics? How do you group your inventory? But yeah, I think the way they have it works well. I don't think they need to go redo rarity and go reassign rarities to everything just because, you know, maybe rarities should be based on topic like you're saying, but maybe they should also be based on like stats or how good it looks too, which are pretty subjective. But yeah. I mean, it also depends on how complicated a game is. Like, a tower defense game isn't going to be as complicated as a role-playing simulator that Ghost Simulator is. And so it's going to need more... It's going to have more examples of bad organization because it just has more examples of stuff. But yeah. You can argue anyway, it's just different stuff. I'm just pointing out that the way they have it works. And like currently for like concepts and stuff, the rarity is usually determined by how good it looks rather than like what the person wants it to be rarity wise. So it doesn't, so like currently you could argue that it is based, like rarity is entirely based on how it looks, rather than like where it comes from and stuff like that. But and then that rarity then determines how it's placed in the game. So maybe it isn't where stuff comes from that determines rarity, but it's rarity that determines where it comes from. And then rarity is then based off the looks of the text. It's complicated, which is fine. And I haven't played Tower Heroes either, so I can't like say anything for certain about their method compared to Ghost Simulator's method. So, I mean, it may be a more complicated game than Ghost Simulator for all I know. I'm just going based off the name. It sounds pretty generic to what I think a tower defense game should look like, and so I'm going based off that. But who knows? I don't for sure. A lot of these ideas is something that you'd have to have like your own game to even implement, and at that point, like, if you think it looks good, then that's up to you, but most people aren't going to understand it. Yeah, when stuff is just cosmetic too, it makes a whole different difference. That was an interesting phrase that makes absolutely no sense now that I think about it again. But like, just having cosmetics and rarities, then like rarity is purely based on the chance of someone is to have it, which can change from like day to day or as they progress through the game. Maybe like really rare items become more of the norm, and so some of the older ones are really rare, but some of the newer ones aren't so rare, and so the rarity doesn't even fit the rarity anymore. But I don't know if that's the case for Tower Heroes, but I know that's like ignoring duping is the case for like Murder Mystery 2. Like, rarities don't even determine how rare an item is anymore. They don't even reflect it in any way, shape, or form. Part of that is, as I said, duping, but, you know, we just grinding more out. Highest effort game on Roblox. Yeah, that's usually not a very high bar, to be honest. Lots of Roblox games are super low effort. It's kind of makes sense since Roblox is kind of a platform for younger people too. So putting in a lot of effort into a game for the medium doesn't make too much sense, anyways. So, yeah. Yeah, putting work into a game that does turn out pretty well, hopefully. But yeah. I mean, same thing applies to a genre as it applies to the whole thing in entirety. 2 more bosses, so we're about halfway done with this tower. Taking about 7 minutes, it looks like. Not bad. I think we're still relatively on pace to complete this one in the 15 minutes. We've been slightly above 15 minutes previously on average, so maybe this will bring our average back down closer to that 15 minutes. Doesn't really matter in the end. It's a small difference that going from 15 minutes to 16 minutes isn't too big of a deal. Especially since I'll probably end up grinding like way too long on my own anyways. It'll be interesting to see what the new games have to offer for from Bloxspite, if they ever actually do come out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a few of the games got killed a while ago and we just haven't got news of them. I think the last news we've had was like over 6 months ago on them, and it was just a developer commenting how they have like 3 or 4 games in the work. I can't remember now. But yeah, it's like they're doing a summer internship or something for one of the games. And since people were expecting that at the end of summer, I don't know how long now that will be since it wasn't released then. I'm guessing soon, based off of what I've seen. Like, developers are really, like, Royal is pretty much the only one working on like Ghost Simulator, so I'm assuming the other 3 are pretty close to finishing at least one of them, but who knows. I really hope we didn't miss the cycle. Sometimes this stops at 33%, sometimes it stops at 34%. I'm guessing that we didn't miss the cycle, just based off of, I usually see 33%, but we may have been able to make it. We'll chill near Meep anyways, just in case we did make the cycle, but it may just instantly, it did instantly regenerate shield. That's unfortunate. Because now we have to go wait the whole entire shield breaking for this tower. Another winter storm warning. I think that was for last night. No, wait, we haven't. Phone keeps giving me winter storm warnings since apparently it's snowing a lot around here recently. It's bad, pretty bad snow-wise. But yeah, like every like week or half a week now, I look at my phone. I have a new winter storm warning, which is starting to get slightly annoying, but it's nice to know that there's bad weather coming, because that means I don't need to leave the house for more time, since I don't like leaving the house. Driving's a pain. I still get out of the house to like walk my dog and stuff, but like I'd prefer not to drive, and since you can just do online school and stuff like that, for college at least, and it's pretty nice. Heard a cat. Don't see one. I'm assuming by it you're referring to the vicious bee, since that's usually the thing that you use for killing big health stuff. Hopefully we still are going to be able to make this fluffy cycle. I detached a little early, so as I said before, this sometimes it stops at 66%, sometimes it stops at 67%. Yeah, alright, that was kind of what I was assuming you meant. Yeah, okay, we missed that cycle. Second missed cycle this tower run. But we're still doing pretty decent time-wise. Alright, I need to go let a cat out of my room so she apparently snuck in at some point. Doesn't look like I've missed too much. Whole thing's falling apart now. Go away for a little bit, and now I'm getting comboed by attacks. Went from like 30% to 73% in like a few attacks. Alright. Alright, not worth it. Alright, I'm probably going to do one more tower run, and then call it for the day. It's about 2.5 hours of a stream. But yeah. About 15 more minutes then left in the stream. I'll finish up one more tower run. See how many keys that gives us, which should be about 14 plus whatever. Yeah, that'll give us a nice round 180 keys, which is slightly more than half of one of these crates. I'll probably do some grinding on my own. Hopefully get up to like 1,000 keys soon. Probably not soon, but for the end of the event, I hope I'll be able to get at least one of each of the mythicals. Probably just one of each board, or not like one board from each mythical board crate. So one from the 250, that one, and then one from the 350. Plus whatever else, plus everything I can get from the previous 50, 25, 5, and 1 key chests, since those are also pretty nice to have available at least. I do kind of wish this floor starting in timer was a little bit shorter. I think everyone does, but at least it was shorter than last event. It was 20 seconds during the Halloween event, so it went down to 15 for this event, which is nice. I would have preferred if it was shorter, like 10 or 5 seconds, but at least it's a small improvement. I also like that the timer for the whole dungeon as whole is now down to 30 seconds instead of the minute was last event. That's a big improvement in overall game feel, in my opinion. Like, massive. And it looks like we're just going to get comboed by Timber Scrooge, since I am not good at avoiding attacks. But yeah, this is going to be the last tower run. We'll end up with 180 keys, which I think is a decent amount for my first actual grind for this event. I did enough towers to get to unlock 1-5 key, crate key, and then when I did that, I went ahead and unboxed since I wanted to get the cozy purple as quick as possible. And got it very luckily in my first box, which was very surprising. And nice. But then after that, I've just done a little bit of casual towers, and just to mess around a little bit, and that's been it. But I'll probably do some grinding now that the tower's been shortened, so we get more keys for time spent. And now that I've bought the event pass, which hopefully I don't regret, but I can't imagine I will. I'll be getting enough extra keys from that I'll pay itself off, I think. I don't know exactly what you mean by find the games. Going to assume you mean like find quests where you have to go find specific items scattered around in Ghost Simulator, but there's so much stuff you could mean with that one that I'm not 100% sure on that one yet. So if you could clarify, that would help. Huh? I didn't even know, don't know what that means by a genre either. Find the games? Maybe you mean like, I don't know. Games have to be a little bit difficult though, like for long-term playing, you have to have your game have a little bit of difficulty so that people actually come back to it. You can't just have easy. And people get bored of easy really quickly. And honestly, if you do make your game too easy for like, ooh, players that, like new players or stuff like that, it doesn't work very well. Yeah, you're gonna have maybe near the end it makes sense to have that stuff. It's not going to be like right at the beginning, of course. But like having that stuff in there somewhere, if the game's long enough, it won't discourage new players, since the new players will probably get discouraged by other easier stuff sooner, but it'll discourage some players since they don't know how to do it or something. But like the easier stuff that some people will be able to do, and they'll be able to do up to where they know how to do, and that's kind of like half of the point of it, is to have some people be able to do some of it, while others, or have some people that are able to do the amount that they... People are able to do different amounts of it, so, and that determines like how good they are at it, ish. It's more of like how much they know more than that, but I hope you get what I mean with that. It's kind of the only way to really structure it, is to have some people, some hard challenges like that, to lock other people out of progressing, because otherwise, if it's too easy and everyone can do it, there's not really a point to go past there. Yeah, I don't really know what you mean by that. Like, honestly, I have zero idea. I'm assuming it's just, like, hidden stuff around a map, but at the same time, like, the specific world, or why people play it in the first place, it's kind of confusing. Yeah, at least. Well, they're easy enough to pick up is, like, the first part of why, like, games like that become trends. If they're easy to pick up, like, as in new players can really understand them easy, but they also have, like, a very, very easy to understand layer of depth to them. Like, in this case, like, very, very, very hard items to find. If you have those items, the long-term players that have the dedication to get those items are going to be motivated to go get them because other people think it looks cool, and they probably do themselves. And so it's kind of something that motivated players can go do and put a lot of time into getting small stuff that shows that they are motivated, whereas new players can just go get a lot of easier stuff and look forward to getting more stuff if they play more. I mean, same thing works like every game, but there's like more straight cut out with that kind of trends and stuff. I don't know. Internet's weird though too, so sometimes it's just some random algorithm, just like with YouTube. Some random algorithm deciding what becomes popular and what. So the trends are literally set by basically pure chance. Anyways, this will be, once we defeat this will be the end of the tower run, which I said would be the end of the stream. So getting close to the end. So first, thank you guys for everyone who has come, and especially to those that have subscribed. Been nearing 1,000 for a while. It's been slowing down a little bit because, you know, I'm not making as much content because I've been bored. I haven't had anything to do, so I haven't done anything yet. I'm not very good at being productive sometimes, but yeah, it's also, for whatever reason, popularity in the games I do is going down, which really isn't any problem. Like, literally, I'm not really doing YouTube for subscribers, really. I'm more of just doing it to have something that you can do in the background that I actually enjoy, instead of, you know, being a little bit more productive with my time, even if it isn't helpful, really, is nice. But yeah. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this Ghost Simulator event, or at least, maybe enjoying it is the wrong word, since I don't know how many people are actually playing the event, like, at all, but hopefully you guys are enjoying, whatever you guys are doing. And yeah, we'll have to wait a little bit, since, like, once we defeat Fluffy, even though the portal appears, there's a little bit of delay before the tower actually finishes up and we get the last 2 keys. It's interesting how it works. I would have hoped that the second you leave the tower, or everyone's left the tower, it would instantly end. But no, there's still a little bit of time left where it's like waiting for people to go through the portal to teleport them through the portal or something. Not really too big of a deal, but yeah. And now we should have 180 Christmas keys, which should be basically exactly half of how much we need for one of these mythicals. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys whenever I upload next, whether that be a stream or a video.